Welcome to Signs Unscripted. I'm Robin Donovan, Signs of the Times Editor-in-Chief, and with me today is...
Mathew Pratt, out of Portland, Oregon, and I work for Ramsay Signs, and I am a production manager here.
Yeah, and we are actually recording live from Ramsay Sign Company today for Sign Manufacturing Day, so tell me what's going on with that.
So today we have two high schools that are visiting us, and we bring them through our facility and show them how to manufacture signs.
Yeah, and as we speak, they're actually checking out a neon bender. You guys have a very colorful neon bender. Today he is wearing green metallic pants, a light-up tie, and a safari hat with Christmas lights on it. And usually I think the neon bending is what I've seen kids be the most excited about. Why do you think that is?
I think the fire and the bending and the glass and just the being creative with how it's done is definitely an eye catcher. Mm-hmm. And it's unique and it's cool to watch.
Ramsay has done Sign Manufacturing Day a bunch of times, right? So why do you think sign companies should do this? Because it's time out of your day, right? So...
It is. I think just introducing new people to what we do, it brings people into our industry and shows them the different things that they can do and all of the things that we get done.
Yeah, and you guys have actually hired people that have come through on your tours before years later, right?
We have. There's been a couple people that have came in and have tried to work in our industry and have been successful, and some that have moved on to do other things.
Mm-hmm. So it's you wouldn't think it necessarily, but it is in some ways a recruiting tool, and it's just a way of giving back and encouraging kids to check out manufacturing types of jobs, which are often not emphasized in high schools.
That is correct. Just bringing people into our industry and showing what we do brings in new employees.
Yeah. So you're here in Portland. You've just expanded with a brand new building, looking at having a clean room for the first time and some other things. What do you think, what's on the horizon for Ramsay Signs?
You know, we're growing. We have a second facility that has started up in Spokane, and just introducing, new technology and different ideas into the sign industry is our goal.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and so you are actually, fun fact, first production manager I've had on the show. So tell us what you think. Tell us about your job. What does a production manager want the rest of the shop to know?
So my job is to facilitate the flow of signs through the shop. So moving the product from the router department into metal, into paint, through assembly, getting it on the trucks. It's definitely kind of orchestrating how the signs move through the shop and making sure that they're done correctly per the prints. I personally just try to make it happen and make sure everybody is on the same team and working well together.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And so part of what you've been doing over the last day or so is making sure that Ramsay Signs was very cleaned up and spiffy and looking good to go. So what kinds of things do you do to prepare? So if folks are thinking about opening up their shop next year for Sign Manufacturing Day, how much time did it take you? What did you do? What did you not do
we start with just cleaning our facility, which we do clean up after our jobs every day, but making sure that it's safe for people to move through the shop, staging certain areas, lighting signs, making sure that there's little activities for people to do and interesting facts about the company that you work for.
So I think, and one of the things I noticed was that you kind of had little diagrams of the signs taped up so that when the kids are looking at a router or they're looking at just a big piece of metal, they can see what's coming, what it's going to be, to kind of help them put that.
Yeah, bringing some color into it. A lot of the signs that are on our floor are raw aluminum or steel, and showing them what the finished product looks like moving through the shop, or as it's finished when it comes out of assembly, is what we try to show them. Bring some color to it.
And so do the kids, what kind of questions do they ask?
Depending on the age group, because we do tours with elementary kids, junior high kids, and high school kids, they can ask, what's the biggest sign you've made, or what's the most expensive sign you made, all the way to how much money do you make? Yeah.
It's funny that the kids they ask the very creative questions and the very practical questions.
Yes.
Some kid did ask that last year, how much does a sign sell for?
That is correct. We get a lot of those questions. And colors, how do we choose colors, and who gets to pick what it looks like, and we just give them that information from the client or architect or the landlord.
And so what do you think? I mean, you've had a chance to see these tours. What's important to emphasize for kids about jobs like working at a sign company? What's the exciting thing, or what do you think kids don't realize about it?
Well, for a sign company, we try to introduce all the different jobs that can be done. Everything from being a painter and then maybe becoming a welder later on, to assembly, to a journeyman who is running a crane truck, and installers and service technicians. The sign industry has a very large scope of things that you can bring to the people.
A lot of different kinds of jobs.
There is sales and design, and there's so many different things.
Yeah, and it can be a lot more creative, I think, than people realize. It's not just push a button, or cut out the same piece of metal 1,000 times all day long.
It's custom. It's all custom. Every sign, even if they're a different size, there's a different way to build it, and it's very custom work.
Yeah, and I think one of the interesting things, I had a chance to walk around with you today before the students arrived, and you were talking about people doing more specification and being very specific, and that's something that's interesting, and I think maybe creates even more opportunity for creative types of work because, well, more and less, right? When they say use this exact material, that's not exactly helping you. But people, I think the clients have come to know more of what they want.
I agree. I think our sales division has done a great job explaining to our clients all of the different types of LEDs or products that we use, and give them, the ability to choose for themselves between vinyls or LEDs or material, and
even if they want to make what you think is maybe not the best choice.
That is correct. Sometimes our information is taken and discarded.
Yeah.
But
I guess it's their comfort level, right? Like they have a certain material that they know works, and
it is. Maybe they've used it before and they want to use it again, and we'll bring up options, and some of those options are used and sometimes they aren't.
They're not. So you've been at Ramsay Signs how long?
I've been at Ramsay for 3 years.
Okay, so not terribly long, but in the industry for a while?
I've been in the industry for 16 years.
Okay, and so how did you get into it?
I was a painter for automobiles, and I had a friend who was a journeyman installer, and they had a painting position open, and I took that job and moved on to being a sign painter, and through assembly and fabrication and into management positions.
So, there you go. From the ground up. Climbed the ladder. That's so interesting. And so the kids are here and that kind of excitement. Do you think that adds a kind of energy to the shop as well? Like, folks that get a break from their day-to-day, this is totally a leading question, but is that another benefit?
Yeah, it is. Our employees are very excited to see, the younger ones come through, or even high schoolers or older young adults come through, and they get to show what they're doing, and pride in your work, and letting people see it definitely gets people excited, and it's fun. It's just a fun day to have.
And it's a fun job in some ways because there's a real, visible, physical product at the end, and not everyone can see that in their work.
It is. Working for a sign company, you get to see it in the shop, and then you get to maybe drive your friends or family by and then go, I did that, or I painted that, or I built that.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I actually was talking to my partner about coming and taking this tour today, and I said, hey, the stag sign, which for folks not in Portland, it's our most famous sign, and I said, I'm going to go to the place that made that sign decades ago. That's something that he said, oh, I know that sign. And I said, yeah, these are the folks that made it. So very cool.
It is. We have an article in our front office with that sign, with the stag sign.
From Signs of the Times.
From the Signs of the Times. And it is definitely one of the first things that people say when they come in is they glance at that, and it's an immediate just knowing that sign was made from Ramsay Signs, and it's pretty cool.
Street cred. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate, especially because this was an impromptu recording and you had no prep time.
No problem. Thank you for coming.